616's cooler than flows, I maneuver them. Didn't know, sit you down, teach you like a student then.
Punks can't corner me, it's gonna be a long day dirty, so bring your lunch. It's gonna be a smoke out with or without the blunt.
Murphy Lee manure, I'm Erward like a tour. I went back to the bottom, my studio in the sewer.
7 to screen, big Gene, chief in the green. Feeling like Andre, big boy, fresh, so clean.
Mama say I'm her baby, my brother say I'm the tightest. Sister say I'm the greatest, drive the latest Mercedes.
Monday I'm in rounds, Tuesday baguettes, Wednesday I'm on the ground, and Thursday I'm in the jets.
Came to the door with my lunatic folk, put the game in the chokehold, oh no. I don't think they was ready for the 4+ slow locals down St Louis mojo. Heard our word, everybody talking heard their bar, yes sir, but we don't care. Then started when we had night guards in the stores in the world, had the world like a toothpaste.
St Lunatics, hip-hop group, St. Louis, Missouri, featuring Ali, Murphy Lee, Keywan, Slowdown, City Spud, and Nelly. One thing true about the history of the hip-hop group is they don't last, like never, ever. Most artists have used the hip-hop group as a stepping stone or a start to a solo career and on their way to success. The idea of the group is actually perfect because it gives artists the space to develop and learn things like writing songs, the recording process, stage presence, interviews, etc. But mostly it allows them to have a comfort zone around them as they get used to all eyes being on them. Rap groups may not last long, but they serve their purpose and can't be forgotten in their importance to hip-hop. Today's feature was one rap group that went platinum on their first try back in 2001 with their debut album Free City, a nod to City Spud, who had recently been incarcerated for 10 years on a robbery charge. The album came at a perfect time, as the face, or what would eventually become the face of the group, Nelly, was on fire, where anything released involving him was bound to do numbers. Sadly for St. Lunatic's fans, their debut would be their last album ever released. In the beginning, things were working out right on schedule. They had a new sound yet to hit the hip-hop scene. From a place primed to make noise in hip-hop, a writer in Ali, who many in the group, even Ali himself, admits to being a great songwriter, even if he can't sell what he's writing like someone else, for example, the way Nelly could. And they also had 2 future platinum artists under their sleeves in Nelly and Murphy Lee. Nelly, of course, going on to become one of the biggest hip-hop artists ever as far as record sales, all coming together for a legend-in-the-making story. But like all stories of legend, it all comes crumbling down in the end, and groups eventually find a way for all parties to go their separate ways. What makes this story even more unfortunate is in the years to come, members would take direct aim at each other, namely Nelly and Ali, discrediting one another for their part in the group effort that saw one member become a superstar, another had a shot in the moment, and the others pretty much backup singers and dancers. Worst case scenario of a group for its supposed leader is an understudy catching up and eventually surpassing your place in talent, popularity, star power, and importance. You let either Nelly or Ali tell it, and both stories will come out 2 different ways. Either Ali looks like the disgruntled star player who wasn't actually a star, had a freshman take his spot, and now he's rewriting history in order to at least dirty the name of a guy he feels hustled him. Or Nelly looks like the diamond in the rough that came from the background to the front as an obvious natural who got himself on, went big, then brought his guys with him, something he says Ali failed to do. No matter who you hear it from, the Lunatics were dope together and made good music that catapulted careers and allowed them all to have something to look back on and be proud of. But for these reasons, their growth was stunted. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. The St. Lunatics were a rap group from different parts of St. Louis, Missouri. Ali from the north side, along with his brother Keywan, who went to school in U-City with Nelly and City Spud. According to Nelly, he, Keywan, and City Spud were the original members of the group that went around and performed at talent shows, gaining local notoriety and the interest of Jive Records at a showcase in St. Louis, where Ali, St. Lunatic's manager at the time, performed in a separate duo group and the St. Lunatics as a 3-man group that stole the show. D2 Entertainment, who held the showcase and brought jive, stepped in to sign the Lunatics, who now added Ali as a member and frontman. They released the local hit Gimme What You Got in '96 featuring Ali, then an EP 2 years later, still unsigned by a major label. Pressing on, they were booked to perform at a Jermaine Dupri birthday party where they met Mace, who agreed to have his manager take their music and give it a listen. It led to Kuda Love, Mace's manager, recommending the group single out Nelly as a solo artist, shop him first, then bring the group on later. Lo and behold, Universal heard Nelly's demo and signed him in 1999. The following year, he'd become the biggest artist in hip-hop. Stunt number 1, bad initial contracts. I think the main reasons groups disband are simple. They all don't have the same amount of talent, and when record companies get involved, they begin separating the talent, and either the ones lacking fall back and accept their place, or they become disgruntled and begin making emotional decisions that solves their issue for the moment and not for the future. The latter happened to the St Lunatics, all beginning with their initial bad contracts with D2 Entertainment. Again, according to Nelly, who in my opinion has the least reason to spin a story in public about where the problem started, the St Lunatics signed a contract with D2 while their songs Gimme What You Got and Who's the Boss were hot, without Nelly initially behind the idea. Ali, who supposedly had the most experience, advised the members they should sign the contracts with D2 even if they wanted 100% of the publishing. His reasoning: if the group blows up, the bigger label will step in and handle getting them out of the contracts later. Poor business decision on Ali's part, giving away years of publishing for a shot in the dark that only really Nelly and to some extent Murphy Lee hit. This shot in the dark also put the members in a bad situation after Nelly blew up with his album Country Grammar, which even he admitted to the group contributing to the project but never getting publishing money over the years for it because D2 Entertainment still owned the rights to 100% of their music, everyone except Nelly. Nelly had the smarts to have Universal buy him out of his deal with D2 for just $75,000. According to him, the other members didn't negotiate a way out of their deals, and this in part is what made them unhappy and their second album not to come out years later. Those initial contracts created a division that never repaired itself within the group. Stunt number 2, every man for themselves. Beginning the 2000s, Nelly became a complete star on his first go-round, going diamond on the Country Grammar album, still one of my favorite albums of all time, and not even a year later, the St Lunatics released their Free City debut that went platinum as well. That all almost didn't happen because members of the group, all except Nelly, asked to have their contributions removed from the album because they wanted to be paid first, money Universal eventually took out of Nelly's budget so his group could be happy. A group Nelly says he demanded Universal sign to their own solo deals if his album did its part. From there, the group were never on the same page. Ali releases his debut album first after the Lunatics album along with his single Bougetto, which I think was a good first single. The album flopped and so did the single. Many felt at the time Murphy Lee was more the choice after Nelly and the group album, but Ali had other plans. Murphy Lee would go on to do a deal with Universal directly on his own and not with Nelly, who had built the foundation for the group on a mainstream level. Murphy Lee's career initially goes well, beginning with Shake Your Tail Feather in 2003, months before his debut that went platinum. Instead of coming with another group album or solo from Murphy Lee, once again Ali, Dirty Entertainment president, decides to release his joint album with Gipp, which flopped as well, leading to Murphy Lee becoming disgruntled and eventually leaving the group, only ever releasing one album with Dirty and Universal. A huge fumble. The Lunatics never released a second album because members couldn't get on the same page, all fighting over ownership and time in the sunlight. Stunt number 3, no stars to build a future. Objectively speaking, and from hindsight's 2020 vision, mixed with a little bit of we all knew this, the St Lunatics didn't become who many thought they could because they simply didn't have any stars after Nelly. What they failed to do was fall in line and understand that, allowing Nelly to lead because obviously he had the right business mind while no one else did, including Ali, who did a poor job leading and continues to make excuses for his mistakes. Nelly had the star power to get them and keep them in the door. He went on to release 3 more platinum albums and a gold album after Country Grammar throughout the 2000s, so could have drugged them right along with him in the background, but the other members were too stubborn to let him lead. Murphy Lee had the most potential, but what I call a momentary star. Same as a guy like Joel Santana. They came up, both were the youngsters behind a superstar that connected in look or style to what the youth of their era wanted, so by default were deemed next up. It's what happens when greatness is found. We start looking in the same place for more greatness. So Murphy Lee was placed in that role, only Murphy Lee was a one-trick pony who was a good lyricist, but that's about it. He didn't make great hooks and his personality wasn't big enough to stand out. So after the Nelly craze wore off, his shine was over as well and never turned back on. A huge disappointment for the group's future because outside him, the rest never had a chance. Ali simply was too old to be included in future plans and could rap, but like he said, was maybe a better writer than rap artist and should have stayed in that lane. All in all, the St Lunatics were a dope group. They moved as Nelly moved and should have understood that. But pride and ego split the group up prematurely, and in the end, no one really won outside Nelly when it comes to their legacy. But again, Nelly was a superstar. He had what they wanted, and it takes a strong person to understand and follow that. The St Lunatics couldn't, and for these reasons, their growth was stunted. Salute, much respect. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.